And Tom Blackwell has known me longer than anybody probably in this room. We go back to 1980 when I took over voter registration. John Childs appointed me. I was 23 years old. I didn't know anything about elections, but he saw something in a 23-year-old kid that worked for the tax office for 4 years. And he said, I'll never forget, threw an election code across his desk and said, son, you better read this. You're going to need to know what's going on. And I took over voter registration. I saw that he believed in me for some reason. Jerry Lanier, who interviewed me in the tax office, he called me 2 weeks ago. Jerry's almost 80 years old. Jerry saw something in a lanky 19-year-old kid with puffy hair that didn't know anything but just wanted to kind of work hard. Had a 2-year college education. That's the people in my life that I will take from now on that means so much to me. And my journey has been through all kinds of crazy things, but I have helped implement 3 federal acts: National Voter Registration Act, Help America Vote Act, the military overseas Voter Empowerment Act. I've seen great things happen. I'm one of few election officials in this nation that have held elections using every method, with exception to maybe a chisel and a stone tablet and marbles in a box, because I have held elections on lever machines. Some of you remember those, I do. Lever machines, punch cards, 2 or 3 iterations, optical scan, touch screens. In 2000, I was able to do an internet project, a pilot project for the federal government for overseas voters, military, in high-risk areas. So I've done everything, including paper ballot. I'm kind of like some of you. I've always liked the taste, see, feel, touch, bite, paper solution. But in early voting and some things, it has not been as conducive in times past. I think you're going to see technology changing some of that. I've had a chance to do all of that, not just the voting methods. I started in 1980 when people voted on election day. And then guess what happened? Early voting came in 1987, the first year that I became elections administrator. I saw that happen. And in 2008, 70% of our voters voted early. So when I started, 90% were voting on election day, and by 2008, 70% were voting early. 75% in Collin County. Then I see now vote centers. Collin County's done that, Lubbock's done that, some others. It makes sense, because why are you going to vote on election day with all your polling places if 75% of them have already voted? And to give you an idea, we have 25 early voting locations in Dallas County. We have 500 election day locations. So we see this metamorphosis, and I've had a chance, a wonderful career, to see things going from all kinds of beginning places, from typewriters to word processors to PCs, redistricting. When I first started in 1980, when Tom and I were talking about stuff like this, we were redistricting with MapScos and map pencils, drawing lines on a MapSco, and that's how we drew redistricting in Dallas County. Now we have advanced GIS systems and some wonderful, wonderful ways and tools to make sure we don't do what has happened in times past. In 1990, in redistricting, in that one census redistricting, 1990, Dallas County went from 485 precincts to 1,096 precincts because of redistricting. It took me a decade to recover from that. We don't do that anymore, because now people are starting to use common lines and realize the importance of not splitting up precincts. With the exception of cities and school districts, sometimes they don't have that opportunity because they have to get down closer into the neighborhood. So I've seen so much, and I've done so much, and I just wanted to tell you that I don't have a bad feeling about this. I don't like how it happened. I was forced out. I know that. I didn't want to face, and you kind of have a glimpse of what I would have faced had I stayed on. You know that my life would have been miserable, and my family's life would have been miserable, and I might have risked the chance of all these years and all my reputation of just being chipped away and chipped away and chipped away, and I leave with nothing. I left with my dignity, I left with some class, and I left on my terms. And that's how I did it, and I don't regret it. Now, I will say one thing. I'll just say one last thing, and I want to tell you, and I've said this before, but Kelly brought this to my attention. She said, you know, public servants, a lot of us, we can live our whole life and not know how people felt about you. Really not know if you made a difference in anybody's life, or you did something good, or you really did something that you can look back in your rocking chair and appreciate. And sometimes you live your whole life and you never know that. And it's never known until somebody else starts reading your obituary. Well, guess what? I had a chance to glimpse at my obituary last week and the week before and the week before that. And it wasn't such a bad obituary, by the way. I've got a pretty good approval rating. Both parties have passed resolutions and committed me. That's all that mattered to me. All that really matters to me is how the parties felt about me and how the election judges and the election workers felt about me. That's always been my #1 priority, and that's probably why I've been fairly popular at this, is because I care about them and I love them, and they love me too in return. And the media, I'll tell you one last thing about the media. The one thing I did that I will never regret, from day one, I never shied away from the media. If it was a bad election, I was right there. Every camera on me, live or anytime. They called me at home. I was on the radio, I was on the paper, all of that. I gave them every bit of the truth, and I was always honest. And one thing I've learned about the public and about the media, they will always accept truth. And they may come down on you and they may bear down on you. But one thing that people can't stand and need it to is people that don't tell the truth, that try to cover up things and try to lie, because you lose confidence and you lose faith from them, and they'll never, ever get that back again. I'm going out because I've been truthful, I've told my story, and I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I may have to get a job to pay for all this other stuff. And Kelly has a job, so I've got a good retirement, so I think I'm probably going to be okay. So y'all don't worry about this. We got to move on, and maybe we'll cross paths again sometime, but it has been my honor, and it has been my privilege to serve as your elections administrator. I swear to you, and nothing has ever fulfilled me more than my family than that one thing, and I want you to know that.